Yeah, well, we actually got some decent weather here, which is good. So I'll just put the microphone down for a minute and get organised here.
Not exactly that nice up there. It was raining when
Oh, is it?
drizzling when I see that.
Oh, really? Well, now that I can see what the weather's like outside, it's a little bit of a drizzle on and off here too, Diego. Yeah, well, that's a problem. Oh well, we'll just have to speak up. I'll see what it's like in Tonga when Graham comes on. Okay. Well, this is the clearest I've actually heard you. Excellent signal, and you are in Tonga, aren't you? Over.
We're around this morning. I was in the shower overnight and still with a bit of clouds around, probably 50%. I was looking at the wind direction because we're very sheltered in here. Anchorage number 6, over.
Yeah, absolutely perfect conditions. Know exactly where you are. Yeah, it's funny, you start to learn these numbers, and it's so much easier than the long Tongan names, that's for sure. Actually, even the Tongans talk about them. You know, when you ask them where they live, they will tell you, oh, we're just over the hill from number whatever. It's easier, and they know that we understand that. But no, superb signal. So have you done anything with your the antenna, or are you still just using what we call the home brew antenna? Over.
We have our home brew it's pretty solid and it's pretty nice to good, over.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So yeah, all good there. So just hope that everything holds together. We still have our home brew. The only trouble is it looks a bit ugly because it's sort of quite violent because it's so long, and so we've had to put guy lines on it. So it does look a little bit like a rabbit warren at the back of the boat, but it works, and so it stays there. Although I suppose now that we're not cruising, we really don't need a backup for the backstay, but it's easier to leave it where it is. All right, we'll here with you and say good morning to everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, Patricia and David. And our day today, we had, let me tell you about yesterday, because yesterday was one out of the box. It was calm, it was blue sky, it was absolutely beautiful, absolutely lovely. Not very warm, but no wind, and it was one of those magical winter days, and it would have been perfect for everybody to do their final preparation. All those folk that are leaving the country today, actually a couple left yesterday. So all is well with folks. So yep, hopefully everything will go well. And we've got another little flotilla leaving Samoa on Monday. So a lot happening out there in the waters, and it's all very tranquil out there at the moment. So pretty good. We have no wind from the south at the moment. Well, here it's no wind. I'm not sure what it's going to be like further north. 1020.3, slightly rising, 11 degrees, which is warmer than what they had anticipated if it had been less cloud. It's about 75% cloud. David said there is a little bit of drizzle on and off when he went out to get the paper this morning. It was a little bit drizzly. I had a good sleep in this morning because last night I went to an absolutely wonderful New Zealand Symphony Orchestra concert in the Auckland Town Hall. I'd never done that before, and I would have to say I'd be reluctant to do it again. For those that know the Auckland traffic, you would think that going into Auckland, I left here about 6 o'clock, wouldn't be too bad, but I forgot that it was Friday night. and so it will stop and go well before the bridge, in fact well before the Takapuna turnoff. So I got into Auckland. I had carefully organised my route to the Civic car park, and about one turn before getting there, there was a big sign saying the car park was full. So that was a bit of interest for me. When you're by yourself and you have to rethink things, it's a little bit difficult when it's pitch black. But as luck would have it, I did sort of wander across and up the hill from Queen Street and found another car park. And I have now learnt about the new modern car park charging systems, because it took me at least 5 minutes to work it out, and then I had to get help from a lovely young South Pacific girl who explained how to work the system. You now have to put in your number plate and on one keypad, and then go to something they call the pin plate or something to do something or other else. But yep, I finally managed to pay my $15 and got irked, I might add, because not do they just charge you for the $15, but they add something on. In New Zealand now we have add-ons. No matter how you buy your whatever, your time at a car park, there was another 60 cents added on for God knows what. But that's what you do these days. It's interesting. All right, I've stopped my rave here, and we have got a few boats to find. We've got Quintessa and Eye Candy, Avalon, Sahula. So let's try and find those, and then I can give you a little bit of news. It seems that we have a reasonably clear band this morning on 8752. Hope it lasts. It's evidently not very good signal into Savu, but there's a bit of competition in there, and I just talked to Excel, and that was pretty clear to Tonga. So hopefully I'll be able to hear everybody. Okay, let's go for Quintessa. Nothing heard there. How about Eye Candy? Oh, I've got quite a good copy of you this morning, Andrew. Go ahead. Okay, I need a couple of fills. I've got 1317, I think. I need your longitude degrees. Okay, I think it's 16352. There's a little bit of fade on signals this morning. So I've got that, and I think it was 240 magnetic 4 knots, and at that position you've got 8 knots from the north-northeast. So 1.5 meter swell, 30%. So that actually sounds quite pleasant on that trip to Saguaro. Over. Ah, 2. Okay, got you. I was moving you ahead a bit more.
Light easterlies.
Light easterlies tomorrow. So, bit annoying direction, but not too bad. All right. Sounds pretty good progress there. We are not on tomorrow, as you know, and we'll talk to you again on Monday. Over. Yep, roger that. All right, we'll still check in with you on Monday. All right, we'll clear with Eye Candy and try and find Avalon. No copy there either, so we'll catch up on Quintessa and Avalon shortly. I'm not sure if Sahula, they're usually fairly late on as well. I'll just pause to see if anybody else is on passage. Ah, there is Sahula. Go ahead. really struggling with your signal, Lynn. Could I have the longitude and just give me it in single digits because propagation is not so good from your position. Single digits longitude, please.
Longitude 1723 120. Over.
Okay, got that. So we have Sahula at 1816 and 17212 east, and I hear 12 knots of southerly, so pretty decent conditions there. You did mention the cloud cover, and I've missed that. What was the cloud cover?
Cloud cover 5, 10, and barometer 104.
Okay, thank you. And just to confirm the course, I think you said 260 still. Is that right?
Our course is 260.
260 course. Alrighty. And
They're going to Turner?
no, they're not going. They're going to Port Vila, aren't you? Over.
We are heading for Port Vila, where we have to remove some of the ceiling inside the boat. It appears when the ship hit us with Suva, they lost some timing in that of the ceiling. And it's not
Yeah, well, I hope you find somewhere in Port Vila, and I hope it's not an exciting arrival like you got in Suva. Yesterday in Port Vila, they had an earthquake, 6.6, a fairly decent one. Port Vila does seem to get fairly decent earthquakes there. They've only just sort of finished repairing the cracks in the buildings from the last one, and I'm sure this earthquake had nothing to do with the fact that Eagle's Wings had arrived. But hopefully by the time you get there, things will have stopped shaking, Lynn. Over.
Well, I sure hope so, and I hope everybody was okay.
Yeah, they had a few things knocked off the supermarket shelves, but otherwise no problem. But it is an interesting spot if they did get a very big one that caused the anchorage there. You go through a very narrow part, and then if it all sucks out and then sucks in, it would be quite interesting. We often wondered when we were in there what would happen if the sea moved somewhat. All right, well, we'll talk to you again on Monday, and hope all goes well with arrival there. Clear with Sahula. A little bit more news for the folk from New Zealand. Mana Bus and Naked Bus, for those people that jumped on cheap buses throughout the country, they are ceasing to exist next month, no more. They are owned by Fuller's and 360 Discovery, and they're going to focus more on ferry services. So the business have been sold to Ritchie's, don't know what they're going to be doing with it after July. So bus services will not be quite so competitive in New Zealand from July onwards. Just a bit of international news. The North and South Korea folk, they have decided to have a few more meetings of families that were split up during the war and never saw each other again. 100 people are going to be chosen from each side to meet at a resort in North Korea in August. So that will be a good start. The North Koreans are not all that keen on these sorts of things because they don't really want to see their people look at what's possible on the other side. But anyway, that's what's going to happen. There's been a lot more controversy about the border with Mexico and United States. But to put things in perspective, the US deals with a phenomenal number of illegal immigrants across that border. Since, in the last 5 months, there have been 40,000, and these are illegals that they have found, not talking about the total. In fact, in the last month, there has been 8,000 detained. So we're talking a vast number, not like the EU's occasional 300, I think, was a big drama for them with that ship that was turned back from Italy and Malta. But no, America is dealing with 8,000 a month. So that puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Some more interest though, in the Pacific, there has been quite a few, in fact 20 incidents since September, of laser attacks coming from Chinese, probably fishing boats, a few from land, but they are targeting airplanes, US airplanes, particularly in and around the East China Sea, where there is quite a lot of who owns this, and etc., etc. All right, and thank you, Diego, for letting me know that the streaming is working. A lot of rain and no wind inside the harbour there at Savu. All right, there's quite a few interesting people on passage this morning. Margarita on their way further north in the Cooks. They're at 1445 and 159 west with 12 knots of northeasterly, 90% cloud cover. Fluenta are approaching Tongatapu at 21 and 175 west, and they've had a really good night's sailing because the wind was up a bit higher than expected. They've currently got 11 knots from just past the south west. Reasonably warm up there, so that's pretty good. And who else have we got on passage? Tregoning, they're doing well too, at 21 and a half and 178 east, and they've got a south-southwest at 7. So all very pleasant, quite nice down there in Falanga. Bit of wind, 15 southeast. Good morning to you folk down there. Thanks for that. And yeah, that's about it really. I'm going to try again for Quintessa and Avalon. Quintessa. Ooh, I think I'll be able to get you, Alan. I'll just, well, hopefully Villamy is standing by. Quintessa, go ahead, over. Yep, I've got that. 16106 west, and it's 3-something-21. Was it 36 south? Over. Yeah, that makes more sense. Thank you. 3321 south, 16106 west. Carry on. Yep. Okay, I'm just repeating that for David. You doing really well speed-wise, and that wind did come round to the southwest 20, so we'll keep them on. 904. That's rather low. 100% cloud cover and a 2.5 metre westerly swell. Passing the microphone.
Congratulations, the low has passed by you, due east of you actually, so the worst is over. So from this point on, things will slacken considerably. Let's see what we're looking at tomorrow for you. Looking here at Sunday about lunch. Light air. You won't be used to that, I don't think. Quite light air. Could almost be from any direction. South, southeast. Lucky if it reaches 10 knots. So little sigh of relief there for a while. Over.
So there was no wind, but it turned around.
Yeah, okay. Now we've got another issue that's coming up on, looks like, I'd say maybe Wednesday morning, maybe Tuesday night. Right in there, there is another frontal band that's going to be running up and down 160 west. So that will start off with northwest winds. The axis will pass, and then the winds go to the west-southwest. and it continues that way for a while. And then we have another depression that's going to head east through your location probably on Thursday. Thursday. So we'll talk about it next week as we see a little bit more detail, but you'll have a respite for a little while. Over.
All right, we'll talk about that next week, Helen. And by the way, John and boy, I've got a memory blank here. Anyway, they pass their condolences to you, and as we do too. So we'll talk to you on Monday, but you're making really good progress, so that's good. And David might get back after the weather anyway. I'll just quickly go to Avalon, and then we'll start a bit of a weather. It's very casual here on Saturdays, folks, as you know. If you want anything in particular for your area, then you really need to pick up that microphone and click it on. Avalon, are you on frequency? No, resting in. All right, I'm going to pass the microphone to David, and a very short day today, and if you need anything more, please call.
Okay, departure day for most of you. Southerlies at first as you head off from Marsden or Okua, whatever. It's going to be veering to the west once you get away from the coast a fair bit. But as you get further north, it's going to go back to southerlies again. Now, there is a deep depression south of the South Island. It's a 984. And this is pushing cyclonic winds pretty much over the country. Now, there's a weak high that is north of you, north of the country. The central pressure is, well, it's 1021, 1022. But the big fat high is in the Oz Bight. It's a 1035 at the moment. And this is going to be the main player for your passage. On Monday, our departing high's western ridge, the west side of that high, is going to bump into the oncoming high's eastern ridge. So we're going to have southwest winds clashing with northeast winds, and that's going to create what we call an intra-anticyclonic trough. But by midnight Monday, most of you yachts will be around 32 south, thereabouts, and the trough hopefully will have shifted a bit east at that point. So sailing winds, I think, should be in the south to south-southwest direction. So that's not too bad at all. But be aware of what's going on there. Now, by late Tuesday, you should be at 30. Maybe Wednesday, early Wednesday. So late Tuesday into early Wednesday. You can expect winds south to southwest, and it depends on your track, where you're going, whether it's Newcastle or Tonga. It's all a little bit different. And by Thursday, your nice little GPS should read 25 south. That's where you should be on Thursday. Winds east-southeast to southeast, again, depending upon your destination. At Minerva Reef, southeast in the 15-knot range. Now, by Saturday, those of you going to Tonga, well, you should be in Tonga Tapu at that point. Southeast winds. Now, at 20 south, heading for Fiji, I believe east-southeast about 20. That's 20 south, heading for Fiji. East-southeast about 20. Anisham, if you're going there, east to east-southeast. You're heading for New Caledonia. Well, we're looking at northeasterlies for New Cal. And you might put a little bit of easting in to take into account for that. But these northeast winds, I don't think are going to last very long. I think they're going to veer to become easterlies in a day or so. So if you're a bit slow, that will be a chance for the winds to come right. So that's pretty much the outlook for you. We probably are not going to have radio contact with you until Tuesday when you're up near 30 south. So we'll take a look again on Monday as to what's going on. Those on passage, I doubt will hear us, but come Tuesday, you should be able to. Now this overall looks like a pretty reasonable passage, so good luck to everybody that's taking off today. Now we'll jump up to the tropics quickly. We've got a trough that's traversing Tonga and Fiji, and it goes on to the banks from there, onto the Santa Cruz Islands, and then to the Solomons. So for Tonga, I would expect cloudy periods, scattered showers. Early satellite imagery shows cloud over the group. Tonga Tapu is more or less in the thick of it, so expect south-southeast to southeast winds in the 15-knot range. By lunchtime, I think picking up a little bit. This afternoon, it'll be a little bit stronger. Fiji enjoying their weak trough as well. It's very slow moving, by the way. And as Tonga, expect cloud and showers, although breaks are going to provide a bit of sun. Wind southeast 15 to 20, although 20 to 25 a little bit later on for Vatui-Ra and the Kendabu passages. And I think the middle Lao will see stronger winds too, maybe up to 25 knots there as well. Tomorrow, much the same, southeast in the 15-knot range, a little bit stronger for the northern Lao. Light air for the wind shadow areas, and also Kendabu looks like it might be a bit light as well. Not bad for Vanuatu today, scattered cloud about, more cloud over the banks due to the trough we mentioned. Hot temperatures in the north, 31°C, but a nice 25 for Amishan, so that's a little bit more like it for me. Seas about 2.5 meters in the north and 2 meters to the south. The winds causing all of this are quite fresh. I would expect southeast 20 to 25 up north and about 15 to 20 toward the south. And finally, NewCal shows scattered cloud this morning on imagery with southeast winds about 10 to 15. By lunchtime, this is in the southern lagoon. Later tomorrow, I think, probably around 10 knots, but it looks like showers off and on to dampen things a little bit, and the winds will pick up on Monday. So that's it, sort of a quickie look today, and we'll be with you with certainly more detail on Monday. Any questions, comments, come now, and here is the Chief.
All right, and we do know you might want to have a look at what these folk are going to get from leaving Samoa on Monday to head to Nui Tupatapu, New Potatoes. Whilst I'm looking for anybody else, I wonder if Avalon has woken up yet, but anybody with anything? Well, there was someone quite strong there, and I couldn't work out who it was. Who are you? Oh, it's Rapaki. Good morning, Peter and Shelley and Leroy. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. We've left Nuku'alofa and we're heading for the Hawaii's via Nubuka. Over.
Yeah, I saw that. So you're actually out there already. Tell us what it's like. Over.
We've got very light wind. Southeast 5 knots, kind of a big cloud. Over.
Oh, well, south-southeast 5 knots. I suppose you're motoring into that. I think I can hear the engine going. So, oh, well, you'll have hopefully a pleasant weekend in the Hapais. I'm not sure whether it's cleaned out yet from all of the ICA folk, but I guess you'll find out. Over.
Yeah, we'll let them go ahead. We're particularly interested in the weather around Tuesday, Wednesday. Seems to be a bit of a shift. Over.
All right. I'll just ask David, are you still looking at Samoa at the moment?
I can do this.
You can do that. All right. Let's have a look at the Hapais Tuesday and Wednesday. And also, if you just stand by, he might want to finish off the Samoa effort. And then,
do this first.
Hang on. Right. Here is the microphone.
Okay, on Tuesday, from what I can see, not bad at all for the Hapais. Southeast about 10 knots, maybe 10 to 15 at lunchtime. Picks up a little bit in the afternoon and a little bit more by midnight. On Wednesday, it's stronger, probably 15 to 20 early in the morning, and picks up a little bit more later on. And I would say between lunch and dinner, you're looking at a pretty solid 15 to 20 favoring 20 knots. And that's going to come out of the east-southeast to southeast down there in the Hapaias. Go one more day, a little bit more wind even on Thursday. It's a good solid 20. So that means put in the little formula, add about 5 knots either side of that, and the gusts 40 to 50% above that yet. So, yeah, there'll be some breeze. Over.
Okay, roger that. So everything out of the south-southeast or southeast.
Is everything out of the south?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Okay, looking at the boat that wants to go on Monday from Samoa to Nui Tupatapu. Not too bad around Samoa. Should be easterly, so you're pretty lucky that they're not strong southeasterly. So it looks like at this point easterlies in the neighborhood of 10 to 15, and yeah, Nui Tupatapu looks east, maybe east-northeast, possibly for Monday. This is about lunchtime. Looking a little bit later in the day, there is some convective activity, so you can expect some possible showers, certainly some gusty conditions every now and again. And looking at the very next day, the winds still easterly up near Samoa, but east-northeast by New Potatoes. So you picked a pretty good time. Over.
All right. I don't think we'll hear from them. They're in the marina. It'd be a bit hard to hear, but good morning to, there's 3 boats, a couple of Aussie cats, and Barney. All right. There was something rather else I wanted to cover. Oh, Toranui. Toranui, are you on frequency? Nothing heard. All right. Is there anybody else with any questions? Oh, I just had to turn the microphone up again after Rapaki, the volume, should I say. Go ahead again. Well, I can't quite work it out, but hopefully I'll get a relay. Go ahead. I'll go ahead if you could relay, please, Trevor. I'm just not quite here. I mean, it's strong enough, but it's just not all that clear. Go ahead, and Trevor will relay. Oh, I suspect that's Kindred Spirit. I'm actually just correcting all of your positions, actually, Brad. So you won't have to do that when you arrive. And this is for everybody. If you are putting in positions or reports to YIT, the really, really important thing is to get the position correct. You don't have to put any, like a colon or a semicolon or whatever between the latitude and longitude. It's really important to get the position correct for your report to go through. And I'm just doing all of that, Brad, so you won't have to do that when you get there. You'll be able to look at your progress, and I'm sure you are going to really enjoy a good night's sleep. Over.
Thank you very much.
And it doesn't look too bad. Kindred Spirit report about 14 knots. They're in the lee of Isle of Pines there after a rather tumultuous trip, but they've had a very, very nice last 24 hours, so that's good. And yeah, thank you for coming up and confirming all of that. All right, and greetings to Gloria as well. All right, thank you, Trevor, and it sounds like it's pretty nice down there in Kulanga as well, Trevor. Over. Oh, your radio did a little bit of snap, crackle, and chopping out then. Over.
I probably wasn't picking out enough on the trigger. I just need to follow that over
Well, we could have given you that yesterday, and we might even get some today. I tell you what, you do miss the sun, that's for sure, and it makes everything, even in the water, look a lot brighter. David's even just walking out. It's very unusual for a meteorologist to look out the window, but that's exactly what he's doing at the moment. But I think we're going to get the on and off showers. But it was really funny walking around the neighbourhood yesterday. Every clothesline had clothes on it because we had so much rain. All right. Yep. Okay. Is there anybody else with anything before we leave you for the weekend? We will be back on Monday. As you know, we don't operate tomorrow. And next week will be our final week for a month. We will be not on air right throughout July, mainly because I won't be here. But David will be around if you have any pertinent weather questions. The email address is ghradio@extra, which is xtra.co.nz. Please don't send them through to Yit because Mike then has to forward them on to us and he's got other things on his plate. So just send them directly to ghradio@extra.co.nz. And if you forget that, you can always look on the website if you've got internet access. But many of you have email at sea, so use that. And we will hopefully have him busy answering emails because now he's had lessons on how to operate the washing machine. He's got lessons on how to operate the stove so he can heat up his TV dinners. He's very good. He didn't need a lesson on the dishwasher. He's always been very good at that. But I will point out where the vacuum cleaner is before I go and leave lots of other little messages. So hopefully he will survive the month and we'll be back again in August. But we will be here all of next week. So that should see a lot of people up in the islands. Okay. Anybody, any last minute requests? Oh, hello, Bill. Good to hear from you. Where are you at the moment? Sorry, there's something about the next week. What was that? And you're at the Tabiuni. I'm just telling David on the southwest corner at Paradise there. Go ahead again. Okay, going to the Coro Sea next week. What are you looking at there? He's just going to have a look at that one, the Coro Sea next week. And probably best to wait until Monday morning to get an update. You know how Fiji is. It sort of changes rather rapidly, especially with this system sweeping through it at the moment. But I will, he's dusted off the crystal ball. I'll pass the microphone, Bill.
Well, you know how Fiji is. Hard to tell what's going to happen there, but looking at Monday, assuming that's next week for you, and not bad. Easterlies, east to east-southeast, 10 to 15 knots around lunchtime. And the same right up through pretty much midnight. Looking at Tuesday, definitely a southeast, 15 to 20. Wednesday, wind picks up on Wednesday, Bill. You should probably be there before that. Southeast, a good solid 20, 20. So we'll know more on Monday. Over.
Okay, anybody else? All right, we'll leave you all to your activities. I'm sure the poor old Bruce is having to work Saturdays again up there at Whangarei to clear you all off, although maybe he got a bit of it done yesterday. So if there's nobody else, we'll leave the frequency to you. I'm so pleased that we actually had the frequency to ourselves today, which was rather good. So have a good weekend, everybody, and we will be back again on Monday. Cheers all.
Oh God, let me, got a copy here.